Select this thing. The occupation you spelled triple C. The
Where?
first occupation.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, so let's run it again.
Alright, that does it. Okay.
Okay.
So
So we have that. So that's number one answer already.
yeah.
Order by for arrangements.
Let's try
Sorry?
spending order.
Should we use order by for arrangements? Or doesn't mean it?
Yes, you can use order by for arrangements. So we can see which one. Maybe we want count, or we want the highest sum
Highest
first.
counts or highest incomes. I think.
So
What?
let's use order by.
Let's do by order by sum of credit. Since it's money is always the important thing.
Why? but then the question says count by each occupation. So how I would do by occupation? Well, there's no problem. Let's do by the credit.
No problem now.
All right. So where do I put that?
So just after occupation space order by space sum of credit.
Sum of credits.
Order by sum of credits. Balance.
Okay. I don't make mistakes again. Sum of.
You can copy the one on top now.
Yeah. Sorry. Sum of credit. Balance. I just don't want to make any silly errors again. Okay. I think that should be it.
Yeah.
So
you can run it again.
Control enter. Okay. So started from the smallest. So how do we do from largest to the order from ascending or descending order?
DESC. So it's going to that way around from the biggest to the highest. From the biggest to the smallest. Sorry. No, not comma. Just space DESC.
Yes, descending. Okay.
Yeah. Descending.
So ascending will be ASC.
ASC, yes, exactly.
Okay.
But by default, it's ascending already, so they don't need to specify ascending, except.
Okay.
So that means we have people that didn't specify occupation as the highest. Okay, let's continue. So the next query.
Okay.
So this next query.
What I'll do is I'll create a comment here. Question 1. Answer to question 1. Let me say answer to question 1.
And see, if it's just one line comment, you can use hash or dash.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Should we view the table on that page?
The table.
Like we should view the table. This particular table.
I don't get it.
How do you talk about creating a view table?
Okay, view.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
But if you can go, I think if you can go ahead to solve these things without that view, I think we should go ahead.
Yes, there's really no need since we are not going back. We're not really using the queries again in the next further queries. So we can just go ahead like this. The question 2 is male civil servant across the country.
I have spent more than 3 years in service.
So I think here we're going to be using more of our where clause. So you can just select all from the table, and then we think of how we're going to write our where. No, we're not done. No, we're not done. Go back. Delete the column. We're not done yet. Okay, so enter, then where. So who wants to say the where condition for this one?
Where gender is
okay. The son is talking.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where gender is equal to male, and you can use a substring to get the duration.
Sorry, what did you guys say?
Where gender equals male.
I'm sorry. Where gender equals male. Oops.
No, I think
Yes, sir.
Sorry, is this equal to star?
No, no, no. Um,
I think you have to use the command to reason.
semicolon. Put your mail
Oops.
in inverted comma. Gender equals to. Then put the male in
Equals
semicolon.
to the
Okay,
inverted
okay,
comma.
okay.
Then tap. Do you have the
And
same
just
line
put
anyway?
and since they say
And
3 years
duration.
above.
Sorry, I can't hear you properly.
And since they say male that above 3 years and above.
Mm-hmm.
So and if you look at our
Duration.
duration, our duration table, I don't know if you can go to the Excel sheet. Let's look at what it looks like.
Okay. Do okay. This is what our duration looks like.
Okay, so our duration, if you notice, is kind of categorical. 0 1 are those that have worked for like months. So they said 3 years and above. I think 04 is 2 to 5, 05 is 5 to 10, 06 is greater than 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how exactly we
I
know
just the
those
old
are
one.
for
Oh,
3 years. So I guess we'll just start do from 4 to 6.
yes. 04 to 06.
Okay. So what you do is go back to the SQL. You now write no before the duration put a substring
What?
substring sub
SUB. Okay.
substring that substring function, yeah. Then duration inside it. Then we are trying to like want to just use only the since it's categorical, I want to use only the first two instead of like using everything.
Mm-hmm.
So comma 2. Why we just need the
The
two
first
first,
two, yeah.
yeah, comma 1.
One. Why one?
Then after the bracket,
Why one? Sorry, why one?
we're taking, sorry,
It's 2 digits now. It's not. It's 02, 06, 05. It's not just see 06, 05. It's not just 2, 4, 5, 6.
okay, yeah, yes, 2, 2, 2.
Okay. Right.
Then you now do greater than or equal to 4. Greater, no, outside the
Okay,
bracket.
outside. How do you get that? Okay. Great. Sorry. Greater
Greater
than
than or
or
equal to,
equal to
put equal,
4.
0 4 since we are taking 4, since we are taking 2, so 0 4.
Okay.
Okay. And then what else? I think that's done.
Okay. So sorry. I like what you've explained now, but I need to. I don't really get this whole. I
You
want to understand
guys,
what.
you guys forgot to add the civil servant clause.
Okay. We'll add
Yeah,
it now. We'll add it.
male
Yeah.
civil servant. So
I think.
occupation, where occupation to and where occupation is civil. You
We'll
can
do
put
that.
it after the duration.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
just
But I want to ask a question, please. Sorry.
okay.
I said that from duration, we're taking the first 2 digits. That's what this thing means, right? The first 2 characters from duration, right?
Yeah.
So what's this other two for? Hello, who was giving string that? Is it
2
Bitamina?
is where to start from, and then this other one is how many characters to take. So that's why I said 2. You start from like you count 1,
In
2,
that case,
and
that it actually starts from the beginning. It's
Start
not
from the
supposed to start.
beginning. That's what I'm about to say too. You
It's
start
starting
from the
from the beginning
beginning.
now. Do you understand? The first two, like let's say it should be 0 or yeah or 1 or whatever. So from 1 to 2, it's just 2 characters we're taking. I get that it's
2
2 characters.
is okay.
But we're starting from here. We're not starting from here. It's here we're starting from. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So shouldn't it be 1 and then 2? Is
Yeah,
this the right?
super.
Yeah, you're right, Hubert. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
And what again? Daniel, we said we should add simple 7.
Yes, and let's use
Count
the like for this one. And
occupation.
occupation,
Okay.
like
Civil 7. I hope the space will not be an
like
issue.
no,
Civil
it's
7.
okay, it's fine.
Okay.
Occupation like
I think we should
put
use equal to. Go ahead.
no, it's just use like now. Like is for most times for this thing. And since we're not going to be writing the whole civil servants in full, let's just use percent. So just put say asterisk quotation mark. Yeah, just put percent after civil. And you can put after the L, you can just put percent there. And you can put percent before the C. And close the quotation mark. Run it. Let's see our query.
Right. Okay. Okay, so Daniel, I don't know if anyone else understood this particular one, but Daniel, I would like for you to explain it further. This particular
Which one? That
coding.
particular query.
Yeah. Why did we use this method that Ibitamino gave us? I understand that this is another method. I mean, this looks clearer to read than this. So I want you to
Okay,
explain
let me
why
explain
this
why.
is superior to this and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
For example, now, it's possible because when you're dealing with strings, it can come in different ways. It's possible somebody put a space before, a space after. It's possible it's scattered in any way. So that percentage, and if once you say like, I'm just saying, okay, look for something that has something similar to these characters. Once you put the percent before, the percent means that okay,
Any,
civil
anything
is
that
somewhere in the list of the is in the character somewhere. CIVIL is somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the character. So if there's a space before or after, it will still give you that row. If there's a space after or any other letter after, it will still give you that row. It will still give you that row. But if you just put, if you, for example, this one now, this gender is equals to yes, is equals to male. That's telling that it's look for exactly this
male.
string. So if there's a space somewhere or there's another character somewhere that is not, it won't bring out that result.
Okay, so I would recommend we also apply that same thing here then.
Yeah, so you can do that too.
Okay.
But if you are sure of what the exact, for example, if male and female were just MF, and you're very sure, you can use equals to straight up. It will still give you a query. Just
Okay,
matter of.
in a case like this, Daniel, in a case like this, if you use this, wouldn't it also count female? Because male will be
Yes,
male
it
is
counts
female.
female this way. Yes,
So
it's
count
true
Then
actually.
female
that's wrong now.
actually.
So
You don't
cancel
want to count
this
female.
thing in front. Cancel percent in front.
Okay. And not
Yeah.
so this means that nothing comes before it.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay. So all right. So I guess this is a better way to describe it.
Okay, so let's run the query and let's see.
Sorry, you guys. So I'm going to put the colon at the end. Yeah.
Yes.
So are you guys ready for this? I'm about to hit the spoil button.
Run the query. Time is going. It's already
Okay,
11.
I've done that. Okay. So where does the count show? Where does the count show?
Are we supposed to take?
Yeah, this is how they said blah blah blah. They said, get the number of. We're supposed to get the number of. Did you get the number? Did this our
No,
first?
this one is not get the number. It's not just saying male civil servant across the country. They
Just
didn't say
like
male.
Same thing now. The same
just
thing.
like
Just
you're
like
switching
count. No.
No, no,
in
no.
Excel.
No,
Isn't
they
it the
didn't say
same?
get the number.
Not
For me,
filter by
it's
name.
just
Not filter by name.
Who said that? I
Yes,
can't
just
hear that person.
filter the records by male civil servants.
Just filter by mail.
Okay. I thought they would want
Yeah.
us to tell them how many of them have.
No, they
No.
didn't mention.
Okay.
If they can want how many of them, they would have said get the number or give us a count.
Yeah.
But in this case, they didn't say anything like that. So they just want the whole record. For me,
Okay.
that's what I interpret it as.
Okay. Because I was
No,
thinking they would want us to
where
give
else?
it like if.
Where else is,
But in a case,
okay.
what if we wanted the total number of males? What could we
Then
use?
we would
Some.
have done a group by.
Same way we
We
did
would do
the
an
first
escape
one now.
function that will give us a count.
Okay. All right, no problem. So I guess that's that for number 2. I think I want
Okay,
to
so
drag this
the
down
last
a bit
one,
too, because
occupational distribution.
sorry, I want to do something. I want to create space for us to see what are important codes here. Okay. So number 3 is
Occupational distribution by gender.
so what do we do? Select from again. Occupational distribution
Okay.
by gender
So select,
of customer
since they want just occupation and gender.
gender.
So we'll do occupation, select occupation, comma,
Oh,
not all. Since you just want occupation and gender. So select occupation, comma, gender. Then let's do a count of occupation.
count of.
Yeah, not count like count into brackets.
Number of occupation.
Yeah, occupation.
Okay. Then
Okay, close that.
wait, hold on. Count. Okay. Continue.
Okay, so close that as count of occupation. Then put a comma after gender. Okay, continue. Okay, put a tab after count.
That's it.
Okay, name the alias as whatever we want.
Count occupation. I'll call it occupational distribution.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it going to affect the initial one?
That was I wanted to use count occupation, but we already
No,
used
it
that
won't.
before.
It won't. Each query is like a temporary. Is a temporary. How do I call it? It's a temporary. Is that like you're calling out a temporary table? Once you write the query, once you don't use it for anything, that's the end of the query. So
Okay.
it won't affect anything, except to now save it as a table or something here. That's
Okay.
different. So as occupation, next line from GC table.
This is table. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can put our where clause to first reduce the 2000 since we're doing a below 2000, or we
So
can put the below 2000 after the having clause, whichever one we want.
you can say where
Let's do the way first.
Let's do the where clause.
Very balanced.
Make first balance
Yes,
less than
where
2000.
credit balance below, that's
Less
less than
than.
2000.
less than, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Less than or equal to, or
No,
just
not
less
equal
than.
to.
No,
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 Let's say
no.
Just less
Just
equal
less
to.
than.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just less.
2000. The next line, group by. So we're grouping by, since we want occupational distribution and gender, we are grouping by occupation, then comma gender. We are grouping by those
occupation and
two.
gender.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Yeah, you can run the query.
Let's arrange order by.
This is looking quite
Okay,
scattered.
let's arrange order by.
I like the arrangements.
Okay. Is that all?
Let's do an order by.
Arrange, man.
Just say we should arrange.
Order by. And you can just
Order
let's just
by.
take it on there. Order
So
by
order
what?
by. Um,
Occupation?
let's say order by
Okay, okay. No, no, no,
occupational
Sure.
distribution, right?
no, no,
Occupation
no, no.
distribution.
Credit balance. Let's use credit
From
balance.
the highest to the lowest.
Yeah, it should be credit balance now. Did you hear me?
Not credit balance. So we already removed credit. We're not using credit balance here.
We are
Credit
working
balance
with the
is in
question.
our table.
Okay. So
So
we
it's
should.
occupational distribution.
Okay, so it should be occupation then.
Yeah, it's occupational distribution.
Occupation. So
Okay. Yeah, so you can run it. That will order it by the alphabet.
occupation.
Or
That's
No,
alphabet
fine.
order
sequence.
by
I wanted us
occupational
to do it by the
distribution.
highest amount. That's what I was saying.
If it's
By
highest amount, then it's occupational distribution you're going to use, since that's the count we're using.
there is no table. There's no column for occupational distribution. Then it's
We're already creating the column for occupational distribution as we did count occupation as occupational distribution. We created that column already. So when you run the table, you see that you see
what
it
I'm
as a
saying is the arrangement of the table. It should be like from the highest credit to the lowest credit.
yes. In this part, in this query we're doing, you can, if you read the query, select occupation, gender, and then do a count of the occupation as occupational distribution. Where
Let's
the
just run
credit
this. Let's just
balance
run
is
this.
less than. So we're not doing any. There's nothing credit balance about this
We are
table.
not checking
Only
credit
about
balance at all. So it should be the occupation.
exactly. We're not querying credit balance at all. The only thing we want to know is that okay,
So
let's credit balance be
We
lesser
are
than
going.
2,000. So
See this
anybody
see this
that comes up
creditor.
with this. Yeah, what I'm saying here is that anybody that comes up in this table, we're that they are more than, they are above 2,000, but not that we are going to
below,
show credit balance.
they are below 2,000.
They are below 2,000.
Sorry, they are below 2,000. Sorry.
Okay, hold on. Let me explain what I'm trying to say. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
guys hear me? What I'm
Yeah,
trying to
go
say
on.
is that when it's ordering, when it's coming out on the table, I would want. Let me not say I. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would want the person with the highest amount from the 2,000 and below. Let's say 1,999 to come first before we get all the way down to zero. Do you
So
understand what I'm
run the
saying?
query first.
Okay, let me just run it
You see how what the table looks like first.
first. Okay.
You can see that what we have is just occupation, gender, and the count of the people, the count of the gender in
Because
that
not
occupation.
calling us
It's just a count.
balance.
Okay. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Now I get what you guys were saying. I was feeling like we added credit balance to the query.
No, we didn't.
because
Credit balance is just to filter the table there. So
Okay.
can we do the other by occupational distribution now? Since you get it already.
Okay,
Just
so
copy the occupational distribution and put it there.
okay, right?
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah. Let's be descending. So include descending command. Yeah, so I'll good to go.
I think we're done.
Thank you guys. Nice one.
Yeah,
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, every single person that contributed. At least I've learned how to do this.
Okay. Well done. So how many people did this? I saw about 4 people. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma.
I did.
All right, but this is good. This is really good. So, Hubert. Hello?
Hubert, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you, ma'am.
All right, good. So please, what you will do for me,
Okay.
so that we will help everybody.
Okay.
This script, just share it with your colleagues.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
So it will also help everybody to go through it, especially those that did not contribute in class or those that, for somebody like Henry that had issues with his MySQL, so you might want to go through it again, go through the question, go through the script, look out, try recap, do a recap when you have your MySQL, run it, and then see what the output looks like. But what can you say about the activity you just did? How can you relate it? Okay, this practical session with the theory session, what can you say about the two?
Hello,
I
ma.
think. Okay. Who else wants to speak?
Yeah, sorry. I want to ask a question after you.
Okay.
Directed, maybe Daniel or Fred in particular. So, when we have this question three that we are answering, the query we used, we selected operation and then counted. Why did we use a select distinct operation? Sorry, occupation, not operation. Why did we use a select distinct occupation, just like how we did the first question?
Can I explain that?
Yeah, you can go ahead then.
Okay, your question was that why didn't we use a distinct in the second part?
No, the third
The third
question.
part.
Third one.
Okay, the third part, sorry. Okay, actually, even in the first part, distance was not really necessary after, because since we're already doing a group by, it will group by all the columns that are similar, all the columns that all the occupations that are actually the same. It will group them all together. So the distance was not really necessary after for the first one. All right. The reason why we didn't put in the second one is that even if you add it, since we are grouping by we are grouping by occupation and then we're grouping by gender, so it's going to take all the values that are civil servant male, group it together, give you your value. It will search through your data and check if they are civil servants female, group it together and give you your value. So even if you put a distinct, because you are doing a group by already gives you distinct values already. So if we're doing a normal select query without group by, we wanted to just see, okay, for example, now we wanted to just see occupation, list of occupations in this query. If we just run select occupation from GC table, it will show us all the occupations there, but it soon shows just the occupation wants to see. But if you select distinct occupation from the table to show you just the occupations that are there one by one. It will show you the list of all the customers' occupation one by one. It will show you the 1,000 records. To just show you the distinct occupations we have. That's what distinct is meant for. But by the time you're using a group by already gives you a distinct value.
Yeah. The real reason why I'm asking is because the next line goes to count occupation. So I was thinking, if you don't use distinct, if you select occupation without the distinct, you're supposed to count all the rows of occupation that exist. Is that not what is expected on a normal day?
Yes, it's actually going to do a count. Now, if you notice, we don't put count distinct occupation. We just put count of occupation. So the select distinct occupation is one column on its own. The count of occupation is another column on its own.
So you are saying no matter what happens, if you are counting a string or a column of strings and it wants to count, it counts them distinctly always.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Number one, count is an aggregate function. So if you just write a count, a count without a group by, it won't run. Your query will not run. So if you are using any aggregate function, you have to include your group by function. Hope I'm not wrong. Yes, you have to include your group by occupation. Once that grouping by already, it's going to aggregate those distance together and give you a count of what has aggregated.
Oh,
So you have to do a group by a aggregated count already. I don't know if I'm making sense.
yeah, I get your point. I get your point.
Okay.
I understand now.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. That was a good one. Thank you. All right. So to our so let me add this to what Daniel has said. Like I said last week, when you add in your select statement, when you have an aggregate function, you group by the other select columns that are not aggregates. So if you see from the third question, you have select occupation, comma, gender, comma, count occupation as this. So then when you wanted to group, you group by occupation and gender. You didn't go ahead and group by occupation, gender, and count occupation. Do you get that? So you group by the other ones, other columns that are not the aggregate function. I hope that is clear. If you add the aggregate function to your group by, it won't run. If you group by an aggregate function, it won't run. So you group by the other columns that are not the aggregate function. Do you get that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so back to my question. So how does it feel like just going through the theory, and now that you tried your hands on it, what can you say about it? It's interesting, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to say that in the beginning, when you came, you made it clear that if you kept on going on with theory and that you pointed out that you were disappointed that most of us didn't like execute assignments, because executing the assignments is a very good way for us to develop our skill in this. So I really appreciate the fact that you stood by to watch us do this. It shows how you're really concerned about us, and I really appreciate you for that. So now, walk about the class. I really enjoyed the teamwork, and I enjoyed the contribution, and also learning new ways to, put out syntaxes that we had in our heads. I mean, for example, this particular with gender and like, and how we had to switch from equal to this, and I
So like,
appreciated
yeah.
to like, and I just really appreciated everyone that put in their contribution. Like, it's really like I really enjoy working in teams because then you get to see like smart people do things and you see things in different angles. So it's really exciting. Like I don't know what to say. I'm just excited. That's all. Right. So it's better for us to
Okay.
practice. I enjoy the practical session than the theoretical session because it's just really abstract for me. I try to picture things and this isn't like the usual because I studied engineering. So if I'm going engineering terms, I know what they're trying to design. When you start talking about coding and you're just saying things in the air, it doesn't really cut for me until we do the practical, which we've done today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. And
You're
thank you, guys.
welcome.
All right.
Okay. Esther. Hello, Esther.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did this on your own, and then you were also in this class. What can you say about, okay, you doing it on your own and then doing it in the class together?
Yes, I got to realize that there's no one way. So I learned from other people's perspective. And yeah, it just
So,
broadened my knowledge basically, and it was
okay.
interesting. Seeing
All
other
right.
people
So,
that answer.
okay. All right. Good. So that's one good thing with data. So, like I said before, it is interesting working with data. It is very interesting. But it is interesting when you are working on it and then you have different perspectives. It makes it very interesting, make you think broad, it makes you think broad outside the box and all you get. And then, like Esther has said, let me emphasize it, there is no one way to writing this thing. Mm-hmm. This script that you people wrote, if I'm to write it, I will write it in a different way. If Kola is to write it, I can bet he's going to write it in a totally different way. But guess what? We are going to have the same output. So there's no one way in scripting. There's no one way fits all. It is not one way fits all. You can be as dynamic as possible as long as you have your output. And once you write your script, it's good to also do a check. Okay, like auditing your output. You can just take one customer, for example, they go and check the customer from the base table, from the total table, to see, okay, what this output of the script I wrote is it the same information with this single customer on the main table itself? So in my output, is my output saying that this customer is a female and the main table is saying this customer is a male? So just once you run your script and you have your output, just audit it, take 1 or 2 sample customers and check it on the main table and see, does the information align? If it aligns, then that means you got what you're looking for. So there's no one way fits all in writing scripts. And I want to commend all the efforts put together in this. And trust me, this is just the beginning. You are going places, and you will definitely do more and more and more. Let me give a few background about myself. I did chemistry, but I've been in this data field for about 5 years. So sometimes if you are going through theory, when I started data, when I started work as a data person, there's this Oracle textbook that I read. I read it from start to finish. That was how I learned it. But let me tell you that even after reading the Oracle textbook, by the time I started getting my hands dirty, I left textbook. The textbook was just theory. It's not, yes, it's information. It helps you know what you want to do. But trust me, by the time you start getting your hands dirty and start getting into the real work, it is not about theory. It is about common sense. So data work is, let me use the word commonsensical. You have to put your mind to it, put your head to it, and say, okay, this is the data. What do I want to do? Textbook will not show you that. Theory is not going to show you that. No amount of explanation anybody can give you can show you that. You might go for an interview somewhere and they give you a scenario-based question as your test, as part of your interview test. At that point, it is not the theory you know that will help you. It is what you have in your head. How well are you able to understand the data and the environment? How swift can you get your hands on things? It is commonsensical. Data is commonsensical. So let me use it like that. So I like what you've done. So I like what you've done, okay? And keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. So what I would do, today is gone already. Next class we'll be taking clauses and operators, then different joins, how to join 2 tables, how to join informations from table 1, table 2, then operators and clauses that you use in SQL. We'll take that next class. So what I'll be doing for you from next week, every week I'll prepare like a scenario-based question, something like this for you every week. So we might not be doing it like we did it today again, or maybe we'll still have this like a practical session one more time, but we won't be doing it often. But I'll be giving you this question so that you work with it, and then you get your hands busy on things like this. Trust me, SQL is a skill that you can't throw away. You can't throw away anywhere in the world. SQL is a skill that is a very useful skill, very, very useful skill. And as a data analyst or a data scientist, SQL is one of the basic things you need to know. Okay, so I I appreciate what you've done. So I would release all of us now. Next week, we'll continue and take SQL joins and operators and clauses. Okay. So any other comments before we close the day? This time is fast spent already.
So I would like to apologize on behalf of class for those of us that most of us, I also didn't complete the assignment. I just wanted to apologize for that. Thank you very much for your patience and believing in us.
You're welcome. Somebody believed in me also.
I believe in you as well.
So when I was starting out as a data person, switching career and all, somebody saw me, believed in me, and I'm here today. So I believe in you, I believe in every one of you, and trust me, you are going places. That I know for sure. So thank you, everybody. I wish you a very fruitful week.
You've encouraged me this morning.
Oh, I wish you a very fruitful week.
Thanks so much.
Daniel, you were not in class last week.
I was, ma.
But I didn't hear your voice.
I was actually mobile. That's why I didn't want to disturb with noises. That's why I didn't.
Okay.
Even this morning too, I was just on my way back home. That's why I didn't want to disturb.
That was really thoughtful. That was really thoughtful, man.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you very much.
Blessed day, ma. Well done, guys.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, guys. Bye.
The class has ended. You guys should leave the class now. You guys should leave the class.
You have to come and throw us out again.
Yes, now I have to throw you guys out. You guys should...
Tamano, well done. I'm greeting you.
All right, I'm seeing your skills. You are showing your skills for us.
I'm still coming to come and disturb you very well. That time series, I not get it though.
Yeah, we talk about it.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Let me leave the class.